So, what does a typical weekday look like for you hour by hour? All right, so a typical weekday would look like for me is I would get up at 5 most mornings. I would ground myself with a prayer or an affirmation, and then I would plan whatever it is that I have to do on that particular day in my head. Then I would get ready for work or gym, depending on what day it is. Because Monday through Wednesday, I would go to the gym for 6 in the mornings, and then I would gym until 7:30 or 7:40, and then I would head over to work. Um, on the days that I don't do gym, I would usually just get ready for work, and I would drop my mom off first, and then I would head into work. I would check my emails to see if I received any correspondence from my director, and I would start working on that when I get into work. Um, I would, after work, um, if it's Wednesday to Friday, I would usually do gym during my lunch break, which is 12 to 1, because fitness is very important to me. So I would always try to find time to get a workout in. Um, So if it's Wednesday to Thursday, it's gym 12 to 1. Back to work. If I have a class, I would usually log in and get my class done, get some work done. Then around 4:30, I would head over to my niece's clinic. She does physical therapy. So I would go over to her physical therapy clinic, and I would pick her up and bring her home um, in the afternoons. Uh, what, when are you most exhausted and what keeps you going? So I think when I'm most exhausted is when I'm feeling burnt out at work, because work could be pretty demanding at times, and juggling work and school as well as a social life, that could be overwhelming at times. And when I feel that way, honestly, the only thing that keeps me going is gym. I know people would usually say fitness is just about the physical, but it's really more than just the physical. The mental aspect of it, it's so much more rewarding. And I would usually say the reward that you get from mental clarity when you're in the gym far outweighs the physical. So it's like the body and everything, it's good and nice, yeah, but then the peace that you have in your mind when you're actually in the gym, it doesn't compare. Um, so yeah, fitness plays a very important part of my life. And when I'm exhausted or overwhelmed, if I'm sad, happy, whatever the case is, gym is always the answer for me. Because there's peace in just lifting a couple weights or throwing a few dumbbell around for a couple hours. It just distracts you from whatever situation that you have going on. Like the outside world does not exist when you're lifting weights. Have you ever almost quit school or work? No, I've never thought about quitting school. I think the only thing remotely kind of deterred me from pursuing anything academically is maybe it was during the pandemic when I received a few scholarships to go overseas to study. And because of the pandemic, everything just halted and it kind of discouraged me from reapplying for those scholarships. Um, but I still decided to pursue stuff academically, even outside of that. So, no, I never really thought about quitting school. What do your parents or family think about your situation? I can't really speak on my dad because he and I, we have kind of like in a strange relationship. We're cool, but I don't really know what he thinks of my situation right now. I know a few times he would have expressed that he's proud of me, and my mom, she constantly tells me how proud she is of me and stuff like this. Um, But if I'm gonna answer this question from my mom's perspective, she is gonna say that she is extremely proud of the man that I'm becoming, and outside of what society would usually think a man is, um, like I'm thoughtful, caring, compassionate, kind, and all these things, and I'm not afraid to, show emotion. Um, so I think that she would be proud of the person that I'm becoming. Yeah. I know it's far from where I want to be in life, but I'm continuously working on bettering myself and being a better version of myself than I was yesterday. So, yeah, paving the road one brick at a time. What's the next question? Describe your workspace at work and your study space at home. How are they different? Well, the workspace, it's kind of chaotic. Well, not really chaotic, but there are a few distractions because persons would come to you from time to time to ask you something or get help with something. In comparison to home, I don't really have that much distraction around me, so I'm able to focus more because, um, yeah, I don't have many distractions at home like I would do at work. Uh, what's a moment from the past month that made you feel proud? Um, a moment in the past month that made me feel proud. Um, hmm. So I think it's something really small. Like I have a nephew, he is 5 years old. And crazy enough, he calls me Uncle Daddy, oddly. It doesn't matter how many times we probably like would have corrected him just to like Uncle Neil or something like this, or he still chooses to say Uncle Daddy. And the other day, I think it was he was doing like he was telling me something about school, and I was helping him with like this little homework that he had. It was nothing crazy or nothing major. It was just like simple addition stuff. He's 6. Simple addition stuff. And he went to school the next day, and then he came back and he was showing me his book, and then there was like additional stuff in his book that he did. I'm not sure if his teacher helped him or whatever the case is, but that made me feel kind of proud in a sense because it's something that I would have taught him or set the foundation for, and he was able to build up on that on his own. It was just like simple stuff, but the fact that he was able to remember and retain that, and he felt the need to come and share that with me, that was like a good moment for me. Um, what is the what's the next question? What's a small joy or escape you still make time for? I think you know the answer to this. It's gym. Um, I'm pretty active. I go to the gym. I play tennis. I swim. I run. So fitness is very important for me, and it helps me stay grounded in everything that I do. Like I said earlier, if I'm stressed, if I'm overwhelmed, if I'm angry, frustrated, or whatever the case is, I could just put on my gym shoes, either go to the gym, go running, probably go swimming, and it would bring some mental clarity for me. So those are the things that brings me some amount of joy. And if I'm unable to do those things, it would probably be video games or watching a movie. But being physical, that brings me a lot of joy. Uh, if you had an extra hour a day, what would you do with it? Oh boy. If I had an extra hour a day, what would I do with it? Um, So this might sound kind of trivial, because before I started driving, um, one of the things that I used to love doing is I used to love watching TV shows, anything related to Greek mythology or anything related to comic books or anything supernatural. Like I used to love watching those shows, and I think because I started driving, it took away from the amount of stuff that I was able to consume. Um, so if I had an hour a day, extra hour a day, I think I would spend that hour just unwinding and watching um, shows. Uh, what would you say to another student who thinks about giving up? Um, I think it's important for you to remember why you started. And I would say, look at where you started and how far you've come. And while I just take a moment and reflect on why it is you started, and take a look at when you started to where you are right now, and remember the journey between those spaces and all the obstacles you would have faced to get to where you are right now. And just remember that in life there may be many obstacles and many challenges, and that's just a stumbling block on your journey. Don't ever let it be a ditch or a hole that you fall into and you just stay there. Because I would usually say you have many more years ahead of you than you do behind you. Um, so just don't give up. Find a support system and rely on them as much as you can, and just keep persevering, because at the end of the day, you know what it is that you want in life and you know what you want your life to look like. Um, and you just have to buckle down and get the job done.